Welcome back, you filthy exiles and Last Epoch players. So there's a lot of videos swirling around out there right now for Last Epoch, considering 1.0 is just around the corner in a few days. So I thought I'd do a bit of an easy breakdown of the Last Epoch endgame system, in particular the Monolith of Fate. Now bear in mind, Last Epoch has two other endgame systems which refer to the dungeon system, which can be accessed by keys, and the arena, but we'll cover that in a video down the track. Anyway, let's jump into the video and let's talk about monoliths. Okay, so monoliths are essentially the equivalent system to the mapping system, more or less, in Path of Exile. Now, you'll first reach the end of time when you get to about level 25, and then beyond that, you'll be able to access monoliths when you get to around level 58. And then essentially, you'll be presented with the option to come back to the end of time. You'll see this NPC agony at the gates, and then basically you'll travel through to the Monolith of Faith. Now, once you reach the monolith, you'll be presented with what is essentially like almost a map device here. It's very similar to the Diablo 3 adventure mode where you would do rifts, except they are referred to as more or less echoes. And beyond that point, echoes will have different modifiers, as we can see down here. They'll have different outcomes as well. So in this case, this one has a chance to drop glyphs. And obviously, the harder the echo is, or the harder the monolith, and we'll talk about empowered monoliths shortly, the better the rewards are going to be. But at the same time, doing echoes also provides what's called stability. And stability allows you to do quest echoes. And these echoes allow you to, by the third quest echo, attack the boss over the monolith, and that allows you to complete the monolith. That's essentially the monolith system in a nutshell, really simplistically. And the idea beyond this point is you want to complete monoliths sequentially as you progress. So from 58, you would basically do this monolith in here. You would go and complete your echoes. Obviously, I'm doing normal. You would want to do the stability, max out your stability, do 3 echo quests, and this is in the initial progression when you're completing echoes, and then you want to fight the boss. The boss will then provide you a blessing as one of the default drops, and then from that point, you'll then proceed and do the next monolith. And then essentially, it'll be rinse and repeat until you progress through each of the monoliths. So you can see ending of the storm, level 75 when you reach this one. Fall of the Empire, level 80, and then we get to the Reign of Dragons. And then we get access into the Spirit of Fire, the Last Ruin, and the Age of Winter. And I'll explain what you need to do from this point further in the video once you reach this area as well. Now, once you've progressed your monoliths further and you reach the level 90 monoliths, being the Age of Winter, Spirits of Fire, and the Last Ruin, you'll be able to access an area that allow you to empower your monoliths.
Nice.
So once you've empowered your monoliths, you'll then unlock the ability to do one of two possible outcomes with monoliths when you click on one. Number one being normal, which is just standard difficulty, or legendary, which is area level 100 and essentially increases the minimum level of corruption on a monolith, which we haven't yet spoken about and we will shortly. And what this does is the corruption increases the level of monster health and damage, but inversely increases the level of item rarity and experience gain. So once you're at around about level 80 to 90, this is ideally what you want to be farming because this is your true end game. I will make this comment as well around builds. So this is the point where you need to be actually on the point of running a build. If you're not and your character is still quite janky, you're probably going to be dying a lot if you can even farm this content at all, because this is where the difficulty really sets in with Last Epoch. So now you've finally reached a point where you're farming empowered monoliths and your character's gotten pretty meaty and powerful. So how do we push this further? Well, now we enter the real end game, which is corruption and corruption farming. So what does corruption do? Well, simply put, more corruption equals harder enemies equals better drops. That's basically the algorithm here. So the simplest way to generate more corruption is to simply fight the shade of Ouroboros, which you can see in the background here on the screen, which is an echo that comes up in your monoliths referred to as Echo of a World. Now be wary, the shade can whoop the living daylights out of your butt if you're not ready to fight him. And you can also find him in the normal monoliths. The corruption level will cap out at 50, and empowered monoliths, well, the best part about this is there's no limit to the level of corruption you can have on your monoliths, which means there is an infinite power spike in this game.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Whereby, if your character can farm it, it can go as high. If your character starts to get too powerful, increase the level of corruption, and pretty shortly your character is going to become weak as paper all over again. Now, as you're farming corruption and you're taking down shades of Ouroboros, you'll also be able to unlock gazes of Ouroboros, which will essentially be done from farming shades and empowered monoliths. And this will allow you to get a quick boost to your level of corruption, which is going to progress your corruption a little further and further and further, with an ideal average target level of around 200, which is what the target range is for most endgame builds in the game currently. Okay, so whilst this isn't the overall most comprehensive guide telling you how to deploy certain strats and whatnot, there's plenty of other sources of information from plenty of creators for Last Epoch around that. If you're a new player, this should get you through the door and into farming monoliths with a bit of an idea of how the system works, how to progress it, and then beyond that, you just need to work to enhancing your ability to progress in corruption, improving your builds, and whatnot. Anyway, if you like this video and this video format, drop me a like, drop me a sub to the channel, and I'm generally over at Twitch streaming pretty much every night these days. So feel free to pop by and drop me a follow over there. But until next time, I'll see you guys later and have a good one.